Now for something rather different, but still very relatable to this particular track. Gives me great pleasure to introduce you to our next and final panel this morning on the tours and activities track. Can you believe it? Another full track of delivering all these keynotes and panels is over for another year nearly. But do stay, and I'm glad I see so many people still in the room. Lunch is standing between this panel and yourselves, but I think you'll find it very worthwhile. This next session will be moderated by Karina Bertagnolli, who is co-founder, and Daniela Gerdes, who is CEO of Mont Bliss. And the session is titled When Longevity Meets Experiences. And this is a super hot topic, longevity, that is. So really do stay tuned. Over the course of these 3 days of ITB Berlin, we're covering the topic of longevity and what it means to the tourism industry on several stages. Do check out the program tomorrow as well, because there are various sessions that are going to dive in from different angles. But we kick it all off today, and I'm delighted to have the ladies with me. So Karina and Daniela, please come to the stage and introduce us to your lovely panel. Give them a warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the travel stage at ITB Berlin 2026. My name is Daniela Gerdes, founder of Mont Bliss, an innovation hub dedicated to tourism, longevity, and hospitality. Tourism has been my professional home for more than 30 years now. When I first started diving into the longevity rabbit hole a few years ago, I quickly realized something. This is not just another lifestyle trend. It is a profound shift, and it is highly relevant for our entire industry. Longevity is about extending health span, not just lifespan. It is about being able to pick up your grandchildren one day, maybe even your great-grandchildren, and have fun with them on the playground. Longevity is about still being able to run 5 kilometers on the Promenade des Anglais in Nice, one of my and my husband's favorite spots. And it is also about simply being able to travel the world with energy, curiosity, and joy. Do you agree? And this is why today we want to explore what longevity truly means for tours and activities.
Hello everyone, I am Karina Bertagnolli, the co-founder of Mont Bliss Lab. And for more than 20 years I've worked in leadership and project management. And over the years I've learned something very simple. How we shape our future, our days, the pace we keep, and the pauses we allow, the intensity we choose shapes how we feel. And travel is the same for me, but it's more just condensed. To me, longevity is about clarity and resilience and energy, supported by science-based choices that help us stay strong over the time, including when we travel. And it also means enjoying life as much as possible in a good health. Experiences shouldn't leave us exhausted, and they should energize us. They should work with our biological rhythm and not against it. And that's why longevity is such an important lens for me for the tours and activities sector.
But now it is our great pleasure to introduce you to our wonderful guests, Katharina Hegemann and Celina Hiller. But first, let's watch a short video. Well, we got a great impression a little bit about you and your company. Now, Katharina, you represent decades of experience in operations as a tour operator and also as a hotel owner. Last year, you celebrated your 35th Neue Wege anniversary. Quite impressive. You work closely with guests and local partners worldwide, and you have witnessed firsthand how target groups are evolving, how expectations are shifting, and how programs must adapt. And you're sharing with me the big pleasure of being a yogi, a long-time yogi. Namaste. Welcome, Katharina.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. Yeah, well, I just realized the video was in German. I'm very sorry. But anyhow, so Neue Wege, new path. This is what our company stands for. And I think if we talk about a shift also in the intention of traveling, so what we definitely experience is that people, they wouldn't travel less. It's rather that the intention why they travel is actually shifting. So that is the greatest change we're experiencing. So it's not so much anymore about like the biggest experience. It's rather, or the greatest experience. It's rather really about coming to themselves, taking their time, really enjoying what the travel is about.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm delighted to introduce our second panelist, Celina Hiller, founder of the Longevity Hotels. Celina is not only building a global platform dedicated to longevity-oriented hospitality, she also lives this lifestyle herself as a frequent traveling executive and a former athlete. She understands both sides, the guest perspective and the business model perspective. A warm welcome to Celina.
Thank you so much.
Katharina, my first question. As we just learned, you have been active in the market for so many years. How have your target groups and your tours and activities offering evolved over time?
Yeah, I think this is what I just also already mentioned. So I think we really see a great shift in terms of it's really about traveling to your inner self.
Yes.
So this is something that we also support, and we've been supporting this since 35 years now.
Okay.
And now if we look at the market as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think there's definitely 3 signals that I would see coming from the market at the moment.
Okay.
And so the first is definitely that the activities are changing. Mm-hmm. So it's really not about what I do more and adding up experiences in my travels. It's rather really about the right experiences. So really, if this experience that I have is what I really I treasure, and that really gives me forward thinking.
And what about the demographic shifts?
Exactly.
Different expectations also when it comes to pacing, intensity, and authenticity?
Yeah, I think that is the second biggest shift that we are seeing. So demographics is also changing. Traditionally, the Ayurveda traveler has been rather a silver ager, let's say. And now we see that also young professionals actively look for different experiences. Even men are now coming in because they are interested in the factor of also how do we prevent, terms of speaking of prevention, but also speaking of how can I integrate health in the long term into my daily life. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Celina, you live a very longevity-oriented lifestyle. For your audience, when you travel, what are your 5 or 6 non-negotiables, and which is the importance for you?
Yes, so last year I spent over 100 nights in hotel beds, not just because I travel often for business, but also for leisure. And while I'm traveling, I want to maintain my so-called longevity lifestyle because at home I have, for example, a small sauna, a gym, my sleep routines, and so on. And I want to maintain these because, not just because of the long-term health benefits, but also because I feel more focused and energized during the day, right? So from my perspective, there are three core longevity pillars when we are on the road because they are very hard and time-consuming to compensate. The first one is movement. So I always search for a hotel with a very well-equipped gym. So I mean a gym where I can train strength and cardio training. Because when you imagine you search for a hotel, you click the filter gym, it could happen that you end up in a hotel gym in the basement with only an odd treadmill, right? The second one is recovery. So think about heat and or cold exposure, a cold plunge, a sauna, cryo chamber, and so on. Because when you go into a sauna with more than 80 degrees 5 times per week, you can reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease by up to 60%. And obviously, you cannot search for a hotel with a sauna with more than 80 degrees, right? It could happen that you end up in a hotel with a spa which has only a hammam. And the third one is obviously nutrition. So I always search for rich protein meals, good fats, and so on. And there are two small bonuses from my point of view. It's a great design, so that the hotel cares about how loud or silent it is in the evening, how bold and energizing the interior design is, or how calm and cozy. And the fifth one, well, these are obviously hygiene factors, but I think they also influence our well-being. It's great service and perfect cleanliness because it gives you peace of mind in the end of the day. So the Longevity Hotel is a platform and, well, over 15,000 people follow us, and every hotel we recommend obviously fulfills these criteria.
Let's come back to tours and activities, Anna Katharina. You have lots of experience. Like, for instance, you have a yoga retreat in Sardinia, you know, a blue zone, very famous for its centenarians. And you also offer excursions to villages, famous for longevity. How are these excursions received by guests?
Yeah, I think when we look at the design of also a retreat in really including like the idea of the blue zones, what does that actually mean? It's really because Sardinia is in this perfect nature-based setting. So what we do with our guests is, of course, we do take them to excursions, but it would be really rather integrating the local community. So it's really very important to us that we integrate this anti-idea of the blue zones in terms of learning from, let's say, the centenarians, but learning what it's about. It's about low stress levels. It's about plant-based food. It's about daily activities and really being in movement. But also what I think is one point that is really important about longevity, about blue zones, is creating a community. And for us, that means we bring people together and we bring the local together. And then this creates a nice retreat surrounding and a nice experience that people actually learn from each other.
And what would you say, how many activities are typically per week are optimal? Is it like
one, for us, it would be rather 2 to 3 really well-designed and well-curated activities. Let's say in a weekly context, because our retreats are like for a week, designed for a week. And then it's really rather the spare time is rather about integrating what you experienced. So it's really that you take it in, and then you, through breath work, through yoga, through meditation, that always accompanies the experiences. This is what makes it a whole,
Okay.
Celina, if a magic fairy granted you 3 wishes to design the perfect tours and activities for your, as a longevity traveler, what would you create?
Well, I'm a very early bird. So every day I wake up around 5. I eat the first meal of the day around 12. I have an early dinner around 6, and I go to bed at 9. So what I would love to see is that you adapt the schedule based on the chronotype. Because I would love to work out in the morning, right? So why not a sunrise hit session around 5:30 or 6 in the morning? Because otherwise it stresses me kind of, because I work out every day in the morning, and I would love to eat my dinner around 6. So that's perhaps one thing. The second one is, I talked about longevity routines, but people also love longevity gadgets. So think about an Apple Watch, an Oura Ring, an 8-sleep mattress, red light therapy, daylight lamps, and so on. These are not so expensive, right? And perhaps you can add these to your tours and activities as an add-on. So people can give it a try because they see immediately how the impact of the activity or tour is on their well-being. And the third one, it's storytelling. I know it's nothing new, but for example, our partner hotel, Zem Wellness Clinic Altea, has a beautiful olive tree in their garden, which is over 1,000 years old. So it's a perfect sign for longevity, right? But there is no sign. So nobody knows why this olive tree is so special. And also our partner hotel, Marlies Garten in Zillertal, offers at breakfast apple juice and honey. Nothing special at all, but I would love to give it a try because their apple juice comes from their own apple trees and the honey from their own bees, but nobody knows. So perhaps you can think about the stories your teacher and facilitator can tell because the people are really curious about it because they can keep these stories at home and tell them their friends and family, for example.
So it's also about the simple things in tourist activities, maybe you don't have to go somewhere so far because the good things are already there in the gardens and in the surrounding of the hotels. Karina, how would your perfect longevity tour and activity look like?
Oh, my perfect activity would look like that. I would like to return to the basics because for me are the little steps we do every day in our whole life. It's not that especially tour that I made over 1 year or in 2 years. It's that you can learn in such an environment the little steps and take it at home, and then you can prepare it for at home.
And you, Katharina, what is your dream tour? Longevity-wise?
Well, yeah, if we look into that, for me, it would actually, it's really interesting because I think we should connect after. We should design some retreats together. So it could be in that sense, but for me, it's also really about really connecting. Our topic is to connect with your inner self. How do we do that? We really do slow down and we connect with nature. So for me, it would really be also getting up in the early morning, being in a very, let's take Sardinia as an example. Yeah. Starting slow, but starting with a nature walk, including breath work, including meditation, including yoga, because what I think is so important these days is that we actually really do reconnect not only with our conscious, but also with our bodies and really sense what's good for us. And then, of course, include some local guides, some local people to learn from them, to really connect again, and then to integrate that to your daily lifestyle as well. And of course, all these, biohacking, etc. These are all good tools that we have from the futuristic or from the now digital part. But I think it's also really important to connect back to our nature. So that would, that.
I totally agree. So. Same for me.
What would it be
same for me. I think the perfect longevity tour is absolutely a combination of nature, of the human being, of the human connection. It's also maybe about sound. It's also about smell, and all that in combination with, a very healthy nutrition, of course, and also movement. And it's not only going in a gym. It's more like being in the forest, the connection with the nature in combination with the movement. So no single things, but just, the combination of it all, and no stress. Just that is the most important thing, that we are not rushed with this tour, that it is not in the end of the day, that we come home and we are exhausted, and then we need really a break from that tour and activity. So less is more sometimes.
Yeah. Rest is, I think, on the tours a very important part, and I think often we should give them more space to have time to rest and to implement all those things we've learned.
Yeah. And when you think of, for example, when I was in Sardinia in the Blue Zone area, like I think those tours are the most magic ones because they show you the forests, they show you the goats, they talk about how they are producing the milk, how they cook their vegetable broth, for example. And those are the small things, but after a day there, you feel so relaxed. Even you had, of course, some input, but you feel so relaxed. And the air. I mean, the air is so special in the not only in the blue zones, but this is an important part, also tours and activities. Think where you're going.
Very well.
Okay. Well, should we talk about our key takeaways, maybe?
Maybe for you to have some little notes, if you like. First, then I only have to tell them. Travel experiences shouldn't support long-term vitality. We've learned from all those interesting sentences. Secondly, smarter pacing and recovery time are becoming decisive quality factors. And thirdly, authenticity beats wellness theater.
And we learned also quality is important and fewer, deeper experience because they create more value. Becoming longevity ready does not reduce experiential quality. That's what we think. It enhances it. And what we see clearly is that longevity is not about slowing tourism down. It is about making it smarter. Let's talk about, like the gadgets you mentioned. It's just smarter tours and activities in combination with gadgets, with nature, and with the local people.
Yep. Absolutely agree.
And maybe we have some questions from the audience about longevity tours and activities. Is there anybody who wants to ask our panelists some questions?
So then?
Well then, no, it's not. Good. Well then, thank you so much for being here. Of course, we are very happy to answer your questions after the panel, and also our panelists will stay here a little bit. Please contact us also by email or on LinkedIn. If you want to know more about longevity, tomorrow we are going to continue the conversation with another second longevity panel together with Nina Ruge. Maybe some of you know Nina. And we are going to focus on the hospitality sector this time, which is also much more your section. That's it for the moment, and thank you so much for listening it.
And if you would like to explore more about longevity and its impact on tourism, we warmly invite you to visit our website, Montbliss. There you will find books, podcasts, and very special explanations. We would love to see you there. We would love to meet you on the site. Thank you very much. Have a successful second day at the ITB.
And a very, very great thank you to you too, Celina and Katharina.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Karina, Daniela, Katharina und Celina, wir bedanken uns. Thank you very, very much. Longevity for sure is going to stay on the agenda here at ITB Berlin.